Another episode of the McPC Bodybuilding Show back at the Mecca MetroFlex. Mike, what's up?
Dude, it seems like it's been a while. It's episode 25. We've been down for a few weeks.
Wow,
Like 2 weeks, I think, huh?
A couple of weeks. We have a very special guest today, our NPC Chairman, Nuessle. Make sure you pronounce that right.
I'm not even going to try, but Miles, come on in with no further ado.
All right.
How's it going, man?
Hey, gentlemen.
Welcome in, bro.
All right.
Thank you.
I made it to the pinnacle.
That's
Mecca
right.
Show. Yes.
On the show.
I'm here, finally.
We're still
It's a dream come true.
No, we're really stoked to have you on the show. We wanted to get you on the show, so thank you in advance for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to start off, how'd you get into bodybuilding?
Actually, it was my brother Matt. He's 9 years older than me, and when I was a kid, I would see him in his weight room, or I'm sorry, in the bedroom lifting weights. And he was an animal. I mean, most people lifting at home is like, eh. My brother was an absolute animal. I see him and his friends lifting weights and puffing and puffing and grinding. There's the old steel weights falling on the ground, the old plastic weights falling on the ground.
Yeah, K1 ones.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. So, and then he had a ski boat, and my brother Mike had a ski boat, and I'd go out with him skiing, and I see my brothers all big and buff and like that, and his friends be around, they're kind of skinny and small, and you know, as a little kid, I don't know, a little 10, 12-year-old kid, you're like, aren't my buddy's friends, or aren't my brother's friends kind of embarrassed having their shirt off next to him?
Yeah.
No, you think that way as a kid.
Right.
I just thought it looked so cool. It was absolutely amazing. I was like, I want to be like my brother Matt. That's so cool. And then I think like anybody above 35 and above, maybe around 40 and above, some of the store.
Yes.
Pumping iron.
Yes, of course.
I came out in I think 76.
Yep.
And that was a cincher in pumping iron. And then my brother Mike got me a calendar for my 13th birthday of pumping iron. A 12-month calendar, and it was just that was hook, line, and sinker.
That was it.
I knew I wanted to compete. I just knew I wanted to do it.
Well, you have a great physique, and actually you competed with the armed forces or the police, like back in New York last year or the year before?
Well, I did the Police Fire World Games back in 1993,
Okay.
and I won my class with the overall, so I was really excited about that. And it sounds kind of corny, Police and Fire World Games, but it's actually a pretty big deal.
That's where Ronnie Coleman turned pro, right?
He turned pro, I think, at the Team Universe.
Okay.
Well, I did the Police and Fire World Games, and actually it's the second largest amateur competition as far as sheer number of athletes in the world.
Right.
And they have everything: golf, tennis, basketball, everything. And one of the things they have is bodybuilding.
Oh, nice.
There's only one thing bigger, and that's the Olympics. It's even bigger than the Pan Am Games. It's everything.
Wow.
So when I won it, there was over 43 countries represented in the Police Fire World Games in the bodybuilding division. So I did that in '93, and then 2 years ago, which would be what, 2011?
Yeah.
I thought I'd make a little comeback and try to win it all over again, and train my brains out. And let me tell you, athletes, wow, unbelievable what you go through. I totally forgot.
Right.
And small rabbit trail, it makes you really appreciate how hard you guys work.
Right.
It is unbelievable, guys.
Well, I
Well, I
remember
think-
seeing you. I mean,
but-
the vascularity in this guy was just crazy. I mean,
Well-
you're shredded.
Crazier than that, I get to New York, and it's the first hurricane since 1935.
Oh,
And they hit the city, and they canceled it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I fell down like a deck of cards, man.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. I just felt sorry for my family, and I realized just how dedicated you have to be in the sport. While you two are still competing, it's crazy dedication. It
Well,
really
with
is.
that, even with that being said, for those of you who don't know Miles or aren't that familiar with Arizona bodybuilding and stuff, Miles, you're the chairman of the NPC with us.
Yes, sir.
You promote the shows. I mean, this guy is really involved into the sport, and that's one of the main reasons why we want to have him on, is to open up that platform. I mean, if you watch some of our show, you know that we're about all bodybuilding.
Watch the show?
Watch
I
our
love
show.
for this show. It's been 2 weeks.
Told you. And to bring you on, that's what we want to do. We want to gain a bigger insight of not only just, you know, you attached to Arizona and bodybuilding, but what's coming up? How is Arizona bodybuilding growing, and how are we making it more? I don't know. I think for us, the message we're trying to pass is how do we make it one? You know, how do we make this one where there's not any, you know, divisions between the men's physique and the bodybuilding, and not in the naturals and the guys that are in the NPC, and how do we just continue to make the show grow? And so,
Well, let me address your first question. How do we make it grow? When I started 19 years ago, we had sort of
And how did that? Sorry. How the hell did you get into promoting shows? Everybody wants to know.
because nobody else wanted it.
Okay, so
The last show in 1990, was it 4? Yeah, 94 was the last show. The Arizona, which should be probably the biggest show, right?
right.
There was 36 competitors and about 90 people in the crowd.
Wow.
It was done. I mean, bodybuilding was pretty well shot around the country, and especially in Arizona, it was done. A couple things. One, nobody wanted it, so I left a white open for me.
Sure.
I mean, who's going to run a losing business? I mean, you lose money. There's no money to make. How do you break even?
Right.
Here's what it is for me. I competed 7 times. My very first time, I got second by 1 point to the overall winner. And then the next 6 times, I did lose. So you would think, wow, that's a great record, and I'd be so happy. Almost every show except for Manny Penny, almost every show I did except for him, I was absolutely embarrassed to be on that stage. Not only for myself, for my family and friends. Especially my family and friends are paying that money to get in there. So I looked at it and I thought, man, there's so many things I would do different. And my #1 goal back then, which is my #1 goal today, a soft #1. One of my #1s. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anyway.
I like the soft.
Yeah,
The
kind of soft
#1.
#1. Yeah, soft #1 is that when you're, and you two know this, you both have done it, and I hope you Arizona athletes have noticed this as well. When your family and friends first hear the word bodybuilding show or fitness show, or maybe they're like rolling their eyes like, oh my gosh, how rink-a-dink.
Right.
What high school gym is going to be at, what's going to happen.
It's not like that at all.
Oh my gosh. And when they come away, and you guys don't get me wrong, were your family and friends absolutely blown away at the professionalism, at the production values, at the timing, I mean, the stage setups, the organization skills, everything we do is what I dreamed of 19 years ago.
Right.
And that was my #1 goal.
I want to jump in and say thank you. Because you put on
thanks.
an amazing show. Mike's been all over the country competing. I've been in California, I've been here, and I hear people complain this North Euro's going to get those naysayers. And we stand up for you. We stand up for Arizona bodybuilding. And you really do. Mike, does he not put on like one of the best?
Well, I think that's. I mean, I help in the back. I help out because, and I do it because of the way the show is ran. And the show's ran smooth. I think that it's on point. I think every team, and I don't know. I think I've probably done this 3 or 4 years now. 3 years now. I think I've been back there.
Yeah, to say so.
And it's
Huge help.
progressively every year. It's gotten better, better, and better. And and that leads us right into, like we were talking about earlier, the 2-day shows. DJ was kind of wondering, well, why are we doing the 2-day shows now? And my answer was, I thought it was simply because of the size of the shows and how they're, the amount of competitors, which is a testament to 90 people in the audience, to getting sold out crowds and getting people.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So it's good promoting.
And you're correct, Mike. The driving force was the amount of people having these shows. And I know the 2-day show when it first started, I got a lot of complaints about it, and people were kind of freaking out. It's kind of like I'm also a fireman, and we always say firemen are so entrenched, like in tradition. Well, the bodybuilding community / fitness community is so entrenched in tradition.
Sure.
2-day shows, no. I believe, and I'm sure I'll get emailed to contradict this, but I believe I was the first in the country that started the check-ins on Friday night. Everybody else did Saturday morning 19 years ago. Right. And I had talked to a couple of different chairmen, thought I was absolutely nuts doing check-ins Friday night. People are going to like it. People are going to show up. You're dragging out 2 days, yada, yada. The reason I did it Friday night was to get all my paperwork perfected. Right. Perfected. And if you guys have been around a long time, you know that bodybuilding shows were traditionally known for starting late.
Of course.
In 19 years, I've never been more than 60 seconds late. Yeah. And I remember my second show, we had around the auditorium, and it was, I think we started at 7 o'clock back then, and it was 6:59, and I said, start the show, let's get rolling. And the people around the auditorium going, but Miles, there's hardly anybody in here, and you have a whole building wrapped around with people. And I go, nope. I go, new era, Miles Productions for the NPC, we will start on time. And I got so many complaints. How dare you start the show when we weren't in there? It's like, so they're mad at me for being professional starting on time.
Right.
And I took that as a compliment.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I would.
It's been a great journey, man. And you're right. The 2-day shows, people did complain at first. Now people absolutely love it. I don't feel rushed. I can wake up the next morning and relax and sleep in and get ready and get all my stuff together. Fix my hair, fix my tanning. Did I do my carbs right the night before? Did I do my sodium? All the little things.
To get you ready for that. That's what you're going to happen on the national stage. Anyway.
You definitely at the national level. So. I'm going to go on the limb here. Here's my limb. In about 4 or 5 years, you're going to see almost every show that has 250 people or more are going to follow the lead of Arizona and do a 2-day show. It just makes sense to start on time, to be organized, to be professional, and everybody loves it.
Yeah, and one thing you can count on at a Miles production show is stiff competition. I mean,
oh my gosh.
nothing derogatory towards the John Lindsay show. Those are hit and miss. If you look at the Border States show,
Love John Lindsay.
Love John. I mean, you had 3 people in each class. Miles production show, you got 25 people in each class, and you know, I mean, you and Dusty were talking about that.
Right. We chatted a little bit about that, and I think too another thing that Miles has added to trying to stop the politics, quote unquote. I think that we hear that a lot in bodybuilding. I think that if you're not, my belief is if you train hard, you work hard, you come in hard, you're hard to beat, and you're going to be hard to beat. So if you bring that to the stage, the judges are going to reward you, but you typically are always going to hear judging, and you always hear this political BS. And so what Miles did is he stepped up, wrote a letter that's now attached to all your entry forms that simply say, and I mean, the biggest thing that stood out the most to me was you will be introduced to all the judges, and if you do not want a judge to judge you, you have that ability to be able to get that judge off that panel. What more can you ask for?
That's exactly right, Mike and Benny. What we do is this. We do a lot of things to make the judging as you and your athletes. Remember, this is your state, this is your NBC, these are your shows. I'm just the guy facilitating. Most of these ideas I get, this comes from you guys, the fans, the athletes. Tell me how you want things done. I listen, process it, we do the best we can to make it happen. And that tool is one of the biggest tools we use among many tools in the toolbox.
Sure.
But what Mike is talking about is, at the pre-judging, I have Duke, our certified national judge. He just got certified at the USA this year, so we got a national judge on board now.
Good.
Our head judge, I'm excited about. I introduce him, and then every single judge, he talks about himself a little bit. Every judge stands up, introduce themselves, and sit back down. And then I say, if any one of you does not want any one of these judges judging your class, you go to Duke. You have about a half hour for the show starts. You go to Duke and let him know, hey, that girl in the pink shirt with the white hat, I don't want to judge my class. You know what Duke's response is? Okay.
You can't ask for more than that.
We don't want to argue. We don't nothing. That person will judge your class.
You know what I like?
So when people say, "Oh, that judge didn't like me," or "That judge is dating so and so," we've completely eradicated that.
Right. You know what I like at the pre-athlete meeting?
And I commend you for it.
Thanks.
A lot of people obviously have competed in Arizona at a mile show, and everything that's on that sheet you used to talk about. And I was reading that today. I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
And something that really stood out is that when's the last time you watched a bodybuilding show and agreed with a person about the judging? Like, I watched the show with my wife. We don't agree with the judging, so it's very subjective. So talk about that a little bit. I mean,
yeah, at every single pre-judging meeting we have, and you athletes have done this show, so you know this. I ask, have you or a significant other, or any that you sit with somebody, have you ever sat and watched the finals, and at the end of the finals agreed on every single placing, raised their hand?
Never.
I have never. I've been asked that question for about maybe 8 years. No one's ever raised their hand. It's subjective. Me and my wife, Kimmy. Hi, Kimmy. I had to give her shout-outs. I love you, Kimmy. Anyway, me and Kimmy, we argue all the time. Babe, are you blind? I mean, what are you talking about? We judged a show in Alaska a couple times for Sean Chancey Clapp up there, and did some consultation work with him. And me and Kimmy at the end of the show were arguing like crazy. We're fighting in a hotel room. Are you blind? I picked that bikini girl. No, that bikini girl should have won. And I think we both got a good eye. It's subjective as heck. You're not going to agree. Well, that's the thing you got to understand. I'll tell you right now, folks, I don't agree with some of the placements in our shows. It doesn't mean I don't think that person ripped off. I just simply want to pick someone else.
And Miles has nothing to do with judging, right?
Absolutely nothing. I give it all to Duke, and Duke does it. And let's talk about our judges. Who can judge? Can a personal trainer that gets people ready for shows in Arizona judge?
No.
Absolutely not. Can one of our sponsors judge the show?
No.
Absolutely not. And we talk about the judges. If you know somebody, please excuse yourself. You know, obviously, if it's a light acquaintance, of course, we can't stop all that. But if it's certainly a friend or something like that, that is something we ask them to do. We have an ethics sheets where they sign things like no communication of any sort of electronics, social media, in person, of course, whatever, anytime during the show of any athletes whatsoever. We encourage the athletes after the show come up to the judges, talk to them. Then after the night show, the finals, best time to talk to them, especially in the morning.
Definitely want to talk.
Yeah. So, and then every judge we certify. And guys, by the way, you know that those don't know, those do know, we're having again this February. We have every February a judging clinic. The exact date will be probably next week. Please check the website.
And it's $350, right?
No, it's free.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
$350.
And an Arizona judge has to sit through the judging clinic. It takes about 3 hours. Then they test judge twice. They have to pass the test judging, and then become a certified judge. okay? We have about a 60% failure rate of people when they take the test judging. And then we probably have another 10% upon that, they pass but never show up again.
Sure.
It's tough.
Sure.
It's tough.
Yeah, sure.
So there's no way you can say that there's a personal trainer helping or a gym owner or this or that, whatever it may be. We don't have any of that stuff in Arizona. There is nothing. You cannot possibly use the word politics.
And again, I think that it goes back to listening to people and trying to kill something before it gets going. I'm going to go back, I'm going to say it again. If you train hard, if you work hard, if you come in hard, you're going to get rewarded.
Hard work shows on stage.
I mean, it's simple. That's what we do. And those are the things that we can control. And as far as the judging goes, just show up.
Mike and I love the judging. Did you win an overall in Arizona?
Hey, I love all my judging because I try
By
to
the way,
let my
I think the
butt
three of
off,
us
you know
have something in common. You know what that is?
What's that?
Aren't we all three Mr. Arizona?
I think
That's
this is.
right.
I think.
Yes!
I think this is probably the third episode we've had.
Close down.
I know.
Miles is flexing, man.
Oh, that hurt. 49 years old, it hurt.
Easy.
Oh.
So moving on past the judging thing, what's going on with the whole?
Can I talk one more thing about that, which
Yeah.
is kind of unique in Arizona? I want to share with you guys. One thing that always kind of a crawl a little bit, and something I humbly disagree with is, you see judging when they bring out just the top 5, and then maybe a class of 15.
Oh, that's right. We did talk
You
about
know,
that.
and then you look at it, it's like, well, then your top 5 is pretty much shoved down your throat. I mean, the judges don't get to pick.
Right.
What I do is this, and if it's 7 or less, we bring all 7 out. Okay.
Right.
If it's 8 and less, we bring 6 out. 9 or more, we bring 7 out. It could be 15 people, or we bring 7 out.
We're going to bring 7 out.
Now, my head judge, Duke, does that. He's a certified national judge. He's judged for many, many years. He's got a pretty good eye.
Sure.
So what we tell the other judges is, when Duke brings up to 7, somewhere in that 7, you should probably find your top 5, right?
Right.
That way, you're not shoving down the throat who your top 5 is.
Right.
Because there could be someone off to the wings that could be maybe even 4th, but never got a chance next to the top 5. So now we got 7. We take it one step farther.
Yeah.
Mike, let's say you're judging. No, you can't, because you're a
Right.
personal trainer stuff. But let's say Michael's judging, and he thought Duke truly overlooked someone that was a top 5. And he says, Duke, number 14. 14, step forward, please. 14 walks up.
So what you're saying is that judge, if he wants to see that person, he can call someone up
Yes,
and they have that opportunity to just call them out.
It does. Now, it happens rare, because Duke does such a good job.
Sure.
But it may happen like once every other show, twice every other show type thing. But what that does to me is it's a fair playing field. Now all the judges have a say who the top 5 is. Not just one person controlling everything.
Right.
So there's just a lot of things you do like that to make things fair. And sometimes people understand why do you have so many people on stage? Well, I think I answered that question pretty well. I think that's fairness.
I think
You know.
I would like to ask a question, and
Yes, honey.
you did such an awesome job promoting the shows, and it's really up to the athletes in the community to get out there and buy a ticket, and it's up to
talk about it constantly.
Yeah, and we always do, and we got to fill the seats, and I'll say it again, you do such a wonderful job promoting the shows and getting the athletes in there. Now you have, you're doing the Felicia Mero thing, and now Joe Valdez is up in.
She's the beauty, and I'm the beast.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's just right around the corner, correct? And then how did that all come to fruition?
how'd that
How'd you guys decide that?
Well,
that was
first of
gonna be
all,
next?
Felicia is absolutely amazing, and you had her
I
on here
agree.
before me, and I understand why. She's a little prettier than I am. I understand why. I'm cool with that.
And he is a calendar guy.
But,
Have you ever seen the
Oh, the
calendar?
fireman calendar back in the day. We were not ladies, it wasn't Nuessle back in the day.
But Felicia is just a wonderful person. It makes sense. I'm telling you, man, I'm very protective of what I do. I'm very protective of what we do here. I surround myself with great people about the shows. I'm very, very particular. And to get in business with somebody, wow. I had a partner 19 years.
Right.
So it was the right thing to do. It came at the right time. Me and Felicia talked about it, and we came up with a program show, which is awesome. And we all know that we have the figure division coming up this year. Very excited. Matter of fact, I just emailed from Jim Mannion this morning saying, put in your wish list for 2014 for the pro shows. This is our wish list, and I think it's going to come true. I'm hoping. In 2014 November show, we're going to have figure, we're going to have men's physique, and fitness division.
All in the pro level.
All in the pro
And
level,
then
all 3
with the
divisions
amateur-
in the amateur show at next year's NPC Western Regional.
Awesome.
So it is growing, and especially the fitness girls. This is gonna be crazy. I can't see those girls.
The Tucson, the Terminator show, is that now a national qualifier? Because that's been 3 years running. Or?
No, it's kind of redundant. When we have 2 shows back to back like that, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And also, people have asked. The shows are so tough in Arizona. By the way, I mentioned my friend John Nezzi. I saw John. I'm so sorry that my Arizona girls keep going. They're winning all your shows. Arizona girls, take it easy on the man, okay? I got to see him here in a couple weeks at the Nationals. We're gonna have dinner with him. He's gonna get on me again. Yeah, it's amazing. Especially our girls here.
Well, and I think that because you're a lot and you're into this community, and so are we, and we see it. The state is just becoming this mecca for bodybuilding and for figure, for fitness.
It's huge.
We're putting out so much.
It's getting amazing.
And it is growing. And again, I think that what you're doing with at the NPC level now, partnering up with Felicia, which is just an awesome, because she just radiates energy and positivity and everything. It's great move. I mean, I can't commend you enough.
Thank you.
For opening your mind. No, really, for opening up your mind, because a lot of people, like you said, we get into this sport and we get so eat, lift, and that's it. You know what I mean? And to be able to listen to people and open this up for people, it makes it where we won't have to worry about a show not selling out.
Well, a couple ideas, thoughts I have is that the day I think I know it all is the day I stop learning. When I have a meeting with my staff, which I have to mention, Bill and Z and Brandy and Brian and Steve and Matt, guys like Mike who volunteer, Hung, Valerie, and I'm sorry, I'm probably forgetting a few, I'm sure, but wow. When we have a meeting and I did exactly what I set out to do many, many years ago, 19 years ago, I'm going to be the dumbest man in the room. I am the dumbest person in the room. And that's what he needs to be. By the way, it's not too tough. But, and then the other thing I do, and you guys hear this every single show, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and give me your suggestions. Right. Because it may be something where I look at, for example, you mentioned the letter that I wrote about the judging. Last show, I had a gentleman come up to me, and he called me. He goes, "Hey, Miles, I do your show, thanks so much, this and that." And he goes, "By the way, my family said I got ripped off." I go, "I know they did, they always do, you win the overall." Yeah. He's kind of laughing at it, he goes, "No, they were truly upset." And I go, "I know they are, they always are, you don't win the overall." And he goes, "But I remember what you told us in our pre-measure speech." He goes, "And I told him what all the things I do to make things fair in Arizona, and they totally got it to sell them out." Right. He goes, you want suggestions, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Put that in videotape and hand it to everybody." I said, "Well, obviously you can't do that." So what I did was I thought, let's write it down. That is now in the entry form. It's up on my website, and now when you come to our check-in process, that'll be one of the pages check process. Nice. So now the athletes really feel comfortable that, hey man, this is top-notch stuff. Sure. There is no politics. And I've actually got a couple phone calls already and emails from people, and some out-of-state people that thought that was absolutely amazing. So yeah,
it's awesome, man. I think
you're leading by example, and you should be very proud.
What's the date?
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited to be a part of Arizona.
What's the date for the November show? Is it
November 14th and 15th.
14th and 15th. 14th, 15th, guys. November. It's coming. Go out, get your tickets.
Called the Western Regional.
It's called the Western Regional, and we have a brand new show in March. It's called the Natural Outlaw.
The Natural Outlaw.
And that's going to be right before the Natural Western USA's.
Oh, okay. So we're at another show.
We're at another show. So we have 5 NPC shows now from Hils Productions.
It's
went from
growing,
1
people.
to 5. And by the way, guys, if you took how many shows we have per capita, and I've done the math, I've looked on different websites going on, I'm going to be conservative and say we have more shows. I think we're top 3 states of more shows per capita than they were in the United States. Because if you took how many shows we have, how many people we have, and you average the whole thing out, we rock. 5 shows rocks. So we're doing real good. We have a couple shows that are great starters. We have the Natural Outlaw. We have the Terminator. And then the week after that, we have the bigger shows, much bigger. Yeah. Can I say one more thing about that?
Yeah.
Is a lot of I talk to some athletes. Like, matter of fact, I ran into a guy here at MetroFlex. His name was Giorgio. Never met him before. And I go, okay, you know I'm talking about Giorgio. Amazing. I go, hey, Giorgio. I met him this, that. And I go, he was doing the Arizona last year. And I said, hey, you got to do the Terminator. He goes, nah. He goes, my personal trainer told me not to do the Terminator. And I said, well, you told your personal trainer is absolutely wrong. I go, definitely do the Terminator, especially first-time competitors. There is so many little things that can go wrong. The biggest is stage presence. That's huge when first-time competitor, especially in the men's physique division.
The overall.
Hey, don't hit my punchline, buddy. Yeah. And tanning and hair and shorts and posing and carbs and depleting and sodium and water and goes on and on. He did the Terminator, didn't even place. I only finished last one, didn't even place. 1 week later, after he lost 9 pounds, 10 pounds, something like that, changed everything we just talked about. Not only did he win his class, he won the overall. Now imagine if he didn't use that first show. I don't want to call it warm-up show. I want to call it his first show. Sure. To fix all those little things. You guys know your first show to your next show. Big difference. Now you get a chance to fix it the very next week.
Right.
And then real quick, another girl got second in the bikini division down there, and she told me, she goes, is it Heather? Oh, sorry, Heather, I hope it's Heather. And said that she made a lot of mistakes, her hair and makeup, stage presence. Came the very next week, won her class, and won the overall at the Arizona. So
Well, there's
folks, it
nothing
is so
wrong with
important
stage
to that
presence
show.
and getting to know that and being comfortable out there, because we see it every, that's why I'm backstage. I try to help out those people that are, that are in that position.
I think they say stage time is priceless.
Absolutely, I agree. Anything else, Miles, you want to add? You want to say out to the people out in Arizona?
I'm getting goosebumps right now, guys, and it makes me emotional. I truly, truly love what I do. I'm truly, truly here for you. It is such a passion, as you can see, the goosebumps over my whole body.
I don't know, I'm
It
getting
is-
goosebumps
is-
now too. I don't know what's going on.
And I want to cry like a little
It's
once here.
contagious.
I think that's too much estrogen. I'm telling you, man, it is such a passion what I do, and it's such a passion. And 2 years when I did the show, it reignited my fire to give you athletes the very best product I can give to you. And one of the things I hope me and Kimmy does is show that personal attention, showing that personal love, showing that personal respect and dignity that every athlete deserves. For example, we will never cut your routines down to 60 seconds. You will get your 4 seconds. Fitness will get your 2 minutes. There's just so many things that we do over and over and over again. This is not about Miles Productions. If you notice on my poster, my logo is like this big. It's never, ever about me. It's always about the athletes. It's always about the athletes. So please, this is your state, your NPC. Tell me what you like, tell me what you want. And sometimes I'll say it's a great idea, and sometimes I'll tell you we can't do it because of this reason. And then you go, oh, I thought you were just a jerk while you did that. And now I understand why you did that. But please keep the emails coming in. Tell me what you want, tell me what you like. I am here for you. These are not my shows. They are your shows. I'm just the guy facilitating for you.
And
So
I know
you
from,
guys-
I know from personal experience, I had a lot of questions after my first show. I emailed the judges, I emailed Miles himself.
He yelled at my wife.
I said I was disenchanted.
I know.
They both got back to me within like 48 hours. So when he says, call me and let me know your suggestions, the guy means it.
You heard it firsthand, guys. Arizona's chairman, promoter, competitor. I mean, the guy is definitely involved in our sport. He's giving back. We want to grow. You have questions, concerns, anything, email Miles. Make sure your butt's down at the show.
That's Miles151 at miles.com.
Miles at miles151.com, but more important is the website, because you get all of my contact information out there. NPCMilesProductions.com.
Miles, we appreciate having you on the show, bro.
I'm so happy I'm on!
Thank you very much,
Yay! I made it! Woo! Thanks, buddy.
We got Miles Nuessle, everybody.
Thanks, guys. We're out.
Thanks, take care.